Today, I want to show you how we can create consistent anime characters. I'm talking about creating images of multiple different styles, multiple different cinematic shots, creating characters that stay consistent between images, and even changing individual elements of pictures to have different anime styles. Like here you see having the funny type of fighting. Working with ChatGPT here to create an anime scene from scratch. And if you stick around, we're going to create the characters, the setting, put them together, create multiple different shots, show tips and tricks as to how we can do this optimally, and unlock some super cool features that you may not know about with ChatGPT. So stick around and you might just learn something today. So we're going to start fresh in a brand new chat. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do is when we're working with ChatGPT is really understand, how do I create an image? I think everyone knows that by now, but let's go ahead and start from scratch. I'm going to say, create an image of a samurai wearing a red cloak, holding a sword, anime style. And we're going to see what ChatGPT comes up with. So here's the image that ChatGPT ultimately created. Just what I asked for, anime style. He's got his samurai sword. He's wearing the red cloak. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do, especially when we think of, if you're just creating a one-off image, great, here you go. I think it's pretty easy to figure out what we're doing here. But when you want to create a scene, and this works for anime, could be cartoons, could be regular people, realistic images, the first thing we're going to want to do is define our style for the image generation. So how do we want the anime to work? One of the best ways to do this is go to Google, quick search different anime styles, and you'll be able to see lots of different styles, such as some of that gritty realism that Jujutsu Kaisen can bring to the fold. Maybe you want that glam rock 80s style from Legends of the Galactic Heroes. Never actually finished that anime. Or maybe you want more of a cartoon style, like something with Invincible. ChatGPT is going to be able to understand if you say, hey, use the style of Invincible or use this reference image to define the anime style. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to paste that image of Jujutsu Kaisen in there. And what ChatGPT is going to do, it's going to look at the line work, the anime style, is it's actually going to ask a clarifying question. And that's great because it wants to understand what you want to do. It wants to learn from you. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, keep the same colors. And so that's one of the main advantages of working with ChatGPT here is because in the same instance that you're generating these images, you could also ask it about, hey, what's a good cinematic shot? So you'll see here, it has edited the style of the image to be more in line with like the anime style of Jujutsu Kaisen. My scene is going to be, we're going to have a red samurai face off with the black samurai where they're going to run together and they're going to have a fight. Now, I actually want this guy to have red hair. Changing the color of his hair is super simple. I'm just going to I'm going to click into the image and I'm going to say, change the color of his hair to, it's as simple as that, everybody. What ChatGPT is going to do is now it knows, A, what character we're working with, B, what style should it be creating the images in, and now it's going to inline edit the specific characteristics I'm asking for. Let's go ahead and create our second character here. Okay, so it's created our second character, and look, it followed my prompt pretty much exactly. So we've got our two characters. Now let's generate our scene. You can go in and use things like something like a storyboarder, which I'll pull up now. So one of the cool things that you can do is use something like if you have a drawing tablet or something like Storyboard or even just Microsoft Paint to draw the types of images that you want ChatGPT to create, and then it will inject all of the details in like the anime style that you're looking for. So you'll see here what I've done. I'm going to use this as a reference image. So I'm going to upload this into ChatGPT. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. I'm going to paste the screenshot of the reference image, and I'm going to tell ChatGPT what I want now. So we need to describe what we want and give it a brief description. So we're going to say this is a high level shot of, so I've gone in and I've typed in my prompt for the sketch here. I'm going to upload this and I'm going to say, make the image 16 by 9. So it created the image. You can see here, we've got the cliffs overlooking the river cutting through the fields and our bridge. It matches pretty well what I was envisioning. So just to recap, we have our initial character. We've got our samurai in red. We've got our samurai in black, and we've got our setting. Now let's insert these characters into the scene and begin to work with them. Before we do that, two things. One of the first tips I have for you all as you work with ChatGPT as your primary image generation method is that we want to save these pictures of our character references to use them as references. We want to save them in some type of external tool. You could download them to your desktop and put them into a folder. You could put them into an Excel sheet. You could put them into Notion or something like that. I personally use Airtable. So all I need to do is I go in, I drag the image, and I plop him into my Airtable records here. And now I can go in and have this image when I want to remind ChatGPT what he looks like. I'm going to do this for my red samurai. I'm going to do this for my black samurai, and now I'm going to do this for the scene that they're in. Now, why this is important is because ChatGPT is great, right? It can do a lot of powerful stuff. However, as we start to merge multiple characters into one shot, you will find that it gets confused a little bit. It changes some of the outfits, and the best way to remind it is with an image, not texting it and saying, hey, actually, can you adjust this? If you say, hey, actually, here's what the character looks like, it's very good at re-editing that shot to make it consistent. The next big tip before we create our next scene in our anime is that we want to use projects here in ChatGPT if you have them available to you. If you're doing all of this image generation in a project, this is going to allow ChatGPT to remind itself what we're working on, understand our guidelines, stay locked in a specific style, as well as reference instructions before each image generation. This is going to save you a lot of headache, constantly trying to remind ChatGPT to do these things in the future. Okay, so now we're going to create our first shot in the series, and you'll see what I've done here. First off, I've uploaded an image that I created that I drew just very quickly of my black samurai on the left and my red samurai on the right, standing on opposite ends of the bridge. Now, if I go back in to ChatGPT, I've uploaded that sketch and I've given ChatGPT some instructions. When working with ChatGPT, this is a big tip. Try not to leave things up to interpretation. Be direct and be concise with what you want it to do, and it will do wonders for you. So this is the image it created. It's okay, but what comes out of mind, like what jumps out immediately? First off, the bridge looks weird. They're too close together. If I want to edit existing image, I click in and I edit here. If I want to redo the image completely, I leave it in line. Now, I actually don't like this image at all. I think the bridge looks bad. I don't even want to try editing this image. So what I'm going to do is say, I'm going to edit in line because I want a completely new, fresh image generation. And here's what it came up with the second shot. You can see here, we followed our instructions perfectly. It zoomed it out great. This is a perfect establishing shot. Boom, here's our close-up shot of the black samurai. Let's go ahead and create one for the red samurai now. And boom, now I've got my close-up shot of the red samurai. I think you all kind of get the picture. I'm going to go ahead and create the rest shots of this particular scene, and then we'll edit it all together and we'll show that now. So a couple different things that I want to talk about just before we close things out, bonus tips, if you will. The first thing is that as you create chats that have many different images, sometimes you'll get to like 50, 40 images. At some point, it's going to tell you, hey, we can't create any more images in this chat. You need to start a new one. When that happens, always make sure that when you start a fresh chat, that you level set with ChatGPT again. I know ChatGPT is going to lie to you and say, oh, I persist my memory, just go on and keep chatting. It's lying to you. Re-upload your reference images and the scene that the story is taking place in, and potentially your style reference image as well, every single time you create a new chat with ChatGPT. You will save so much time and image generation requests level setting with ChatGPT versus trying to go in and do that all one-off. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that let's say that I wanted any of these men to be in a particular pose. You can do any of this by really just finding Google like man holding sword. And let's say I wanted the character to be in this pose. I can use this as a reference image. So I can say, okay, let's have this pose here. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to copy this image and give me an image of the black samurai in this pose. And what it'll do is you'll really be able to style your characters in the particular poses that you want. So you'll see it took our reference pose here and generated our character using the same pose. This is crazy. With that said, everyone, I hope this provided a lot of value. My main takeaway from this to you all is that you all can use ChatGPT to create not even just like one-off character images or turning your dog to like anime style. You can really create consistent characters and essentially shots that you can then take to tools like Kling or local video models like Juan to create really awesome animations. So this has been a game changer with character consistency and being able to leverage this in ChatGPT. Drop a like on the video, give me a subscribe. We're trying to get this channel off the ground. Would appreciate that. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.